Hello dear students, good morning to all of you. Today we are going to learn sterilization process that is carried out in milk as well as milk related other products. So in previous lecture we have seen pasteurization of milk and other products. So in this particular lecture we are going to see how sterilization play important role in hygienic milk production as well as milk related other products. So first we will see sterilization. So sterilization is the process by which we can remove all forms of life, say for example all forms of microorganisms including spores. So sterilization of milk is aimed at killing all microbes present including bacterial spores, so that packed product can be stored for a long period at ambient temperature, so without spoilage by microorganism. So in this process what we do, we carry out some processes or some treatments that remove all sorts of microorganisms including spores, so that we can retain this milk as well as milk related products for longer period or longer time. Since molds and yeast are readily killed, we are only concerned about bacteria. To the end, 30 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius in bottle sterilization, or 30 seconds at 130 degrees Celsius, or 1 second at 145 degrees Celsius usually sufficient. So these are the three combination of temperature as well as time that are used for sterilizing the milk as well as milk related products. In that first combination is that you have to keep the milk or milk related other products at 110 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, that is called as bottle sterilization. And then next combination is that you have to keep 30 degrees Celsius for 30 seconds, and last is 145 degrees Celsius for 1 second. So these are different combinations of temperature and time that are used for sterilizing milk as well as milk related other products. So the latter two are example of so called ultra high temperature short time. So these last two combination, that is 130 degrees Celsius and 145 degrees Celsius, so these are categorized under ultra high temperature technique. Okay. So heating for 30 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius inactivates all milk enzyme. Okay. So this process of overheating of milk, due to this overheating, all enzymes in milk they get inactivated. Again, it is a drawback of this process, but not all bacterial lipases and proteases are fully inactivated. So it causes extensive Maillard reaction leading to browning, formation of sterilized milk, flavor and some loss of available lysines. So in short, some of the protein they get denatured after heating the milk at 110 degrees Celsius. It reduces the content of some vitamins also, and it causes considerable changes in protein including casein, and decrease the pH of milk by about zero point 0.2 unit upon heating for 1 second at 145 degrees Celsius. Chemical reactions hardly occur, so most serum proteins remain unchanged and only weak cooked flavor develops. So it does not inactivates all enzymes. Example, plasmin is hardly affected, and some bacterial lipases and other proteinases not at all. So therefore such short heat treatment is rarely applied. Okay. So what is the drawback of this system? That overheating means heating of milk at 110 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, it inactivate or denature some protein molecule, and some vitamins also they get denatured using this temperature and time combination. So the undesirable secondary effect in bottle sterilization, like browning, sterilization flavor, and loss of vitamins can be diminished by UTH sterilization. So during packing of ultra high sterilization of milk, so milk contamination of bacteria has to be rigorously prevented. So after ultra high sterilization, certain enzymatic reactions and physicochemical changes still may occur. So overall, this is background behind ultra high sterilization. So sterilized milk may be defined as homogenized milk which has been heated to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius or above for such a length of time that it remain fit for human consumption for at least 7 days at room temperature. So what is meant by sterilized milk? We can define sterilized milk as it is homogenized milk which has been treated at 100 degrees Celsius or above for such a length of time that it remained fit for human consumption for at least 7 days. So heating of milk at higher temperature should not alters its default properties. Say for example, it should not alter its aroma, it should not alter flavor, it should not denature the content present in milk. So this is how sterilized milk or homogenized milk get defined. So commercially sterilized milk is rarely sterile in strict bacteriological sense. This is because requirement for complete sterility conflict with consumer preference for normal color and flavor in sterilized product. So the spore forming bacteria in raw milk which are highly heat resistant survive the sterilization temperature time employed in dairy and ultimately leads to deterioration of sterilized milk. So in a strict sense we can't say that milk is totally sterilized because if we will go into overheating of that milk, then it changes its texture as well as color, and consumer reject this type of overheated or off flavored or different colored milk. So there are still some spore forming bacteria, they still remain alive after this ultra high temperature treatment. So okay, so FSSAI definition. So as per as food standard, food safety and standard authority definition, the term sterilization when used in association with milk means heating milk in a sealed container continuously to a temperature of either 115 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes or at least 130 degrees Celsius for a period of 1 second or more in a continuous flow, then packed under aseptic condition in hermetically sealed containers to ensure preservation at room temperature for a period not less than 15 days from the date of manufacture. So these are specifications that are provided by Food Safety and Standard Authority, in that they term sterilization when we use according to them sterilization is what? So heating of milk at either 150 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes or heating of milk at 130 degrees Celsius for 1 second. So these are this type of milk, they are packed in containers and they are sold in markets. So sterilization of foods by application of heat can either be sealed containers or by continuous flow technique. So sterilization of milk is kept for a long time so that it will show extensive gravity creaming if unhomogenized. So creaming as such is undesirable. So besides partial coalescence of closely packed fat globules will lead to formation of cream plug which is hard to mix throughout the remaining milk. So oiling of may occur at somewhat elevated temperatures. So therefore sterilized liquid milk is always homogenized. So there are some advantages of this ultra high temperature technique. So first, remarkable keeping quality. This after this ultra high treatment, you can keep the milk for longer period, or you can keep the milk for some up to some 10 to 15 days, and still you can consume within that time span. So it should not require refrigerated conditions. Then no cream layer or plug. So you cannot find any kind of cream layer or plug in that ultra high treated milk. then forms a soft digestible curd and hence useful for feeding of infants and individuals. So this ultra high treated milk, it forms digestible curd and hence it is useful for feeding of infants and invalids also. Then distinction rich flavor due to homogenization. So it has some distinct flavor as far as raw milk and normally pasteurized milk is concerned. So it is economical to use and less liable to develop oxidized trends. So these are advantages of ultra high treated milk. Then there are some disadvantages. So increased cost of production. So overall this process of ultra sterilization, it needs it is more costly than normal pasteurization and other treatment are concerned. So it is increases cost of production. So more or less in nutrition value than pasteurization. So more loss of nutritive value than pasteurization. So in this case as we already see that ultra high treatment losses some enzymes and proteins as well as some vitamins. So we cannot get proper nutrition by utilizing this ultra high treated milk. Then Gerber test by normal procedure not so accurate. So these are some disadvantages. Then the sterilized milk, there are some criteria that how should be sterilized milk look like. So sterilized milk must be kept without deterioration, so it remains stable and be good for commercial value for sufficient period to satisfy commercial requirement. Then it should be free from any microorganisms harmful to consumer health and especially pathogenic toxigenic germs and toxin. So what should be sterilized milk look should be like that it should be free from any kind of microorganism, especially pathogenic microorganism that causes toxin as well as several other molecules. It should be free from any microorganisms liable to proliferate, that is it should not show signs of bacterial growth which leads inter alia to absence of deterioration. Okay. So in that we are going to see in bottle sterilization. So the raw milk on receipt should be strictly examined by physicochemical and bacteriological test, and only high quality milk should be used for production of sterilized milk. So before producing sterilized milk, it should be tested for its physicochemical as well as microbiological properties, and care should be taken to accept milk supplies which have no developed acidity which can contain at least least number of spore forming bacteria. So another criteria for acceptance to produce sterilized milk is that it should have low spore forming bacterial count. The intake milk should be promptly cooled at 5 degrees Celsius for bulk storage in order to check any bacterial growth, and next it should be preheated to 35 to 40 degrees Celsius for efficient filtration as well as clarification, so as to remove visible dirt etc. And to increase its aesthetic quality, the milk should again be cooled at 5 degrees Celsius so as to preserve its quality. Okay. So these are different criteria before production of sterilized milk. Okay. So it should then be standardized to prescribe percentage of fat and solid not fat content in order to conform to legal standards. So these are all criteria for milk that is going to be sterilized. Okay. So it must be stored at 5 degrees Celsius until processing. The milk should be promptly preheated at 60 degrees Celsius for efficient homogenization to prevent any subsequent formation of cream layer. Usually single stage homogenization is carried out at 2500 psi pressure. The homogenized milk must be clarified so as to remove sediments formed during homogenization process. So the hot milk from homogenizer should be filled into clean and sterilized bottle coming from the bottle washing machine and then sealed with specific caps. The filled and capped bottles should then be placed in a metal carats for sterilization by batch process and fed into conveyors for continuous process until the milk is sterilized at 108 to 101 degrees Celsius for 25 to 35 minutes. Then sterilized milk in bottles should be gradually cooled at room temperature, and soon sudden cooling may lead to bottle breakage. So finally the milk in bottle should be stored in a cool places. So overall this is a process in the milk that we get from bottles. So in this is the process for bottle sterilization of milk, or the milk that is packed and sold in bottles, and how it is prepared and how it get processed. So this is the overall process for that milk bottle sterilization. Then next, batch sterilizers. So these may either be rotatory or non-rotatory type. So in batch sterilizers are rectangular, horizontal, boiler shaped retorts with a steam inlet and condensate outlet fitted with clamp down covers into which steam is adjusted for required temperature and time for sterilization. So these are specifications that are used during batch sterilizers. So what are the advantages for these sterilizing processes? So these are simple and flexible in operation. Okay, so all these processes these are very simple for their carry out, and they are flexible, so one can easily carry out these processes. Then these are less initial capital and recurring expenditure. So these processes are very economic as far as money expenditure is concerned. Then there are some disadvantages of these processes. So usually it produces a brownish appearance and cooked taste in a finished product, and sterilization may be faulty. The cooling has to be slow to avoid breakage. The economic advantages of large scale processing are not obtained, and in batch rotatory type, the filled bottles are put into holders which are rotated at 6 to 7 rpm. The sterilized milk is of slightly better quality in rotatory type sterilizers than in non-rotatory one. So all these are drawbacks of batch sterilization. Next we will going to see continuous sterilizers. So in this type, the filled and sealed milk bottles are automatically placed by means of a slat conveyor into the pockets of carrier cages. They then pass into water at or near boiling temperature. From there they enter into sterilizing zone, which consists of a steam chamber which is maintained at 100 to 101 degrees Celsius. So here the bottles remain for predetermined time. Almost it is kept for 25 to 30 minutes for milk sterilization. Then cooling. So after heating treatment in a batch or tank sterilizers, the milk bottles may be cooled in air or water. Okay, so if cooling is too rapid, the bottles may crack, and if it's too slow, there is danger of browning due to caramelization. So in the continuous system, after leaving the sterilizing zone, the bottles enter a column of hot water where the cooling process begins. So this is followed by their passage through another tank of water for further cooling, and lastly through the shallow tank of cold water for final cooling. So these bottles are then automatically discharged and conveyed to a point where they are placed in carats, in which they are transferred to storage room. So overall these are processes that how bottled packed milk we get from different processing and different treatments. Okay. Then there is test that is known as turbidity test, which is utilized for sterilized milk, and the turbidity test depends upon denaturation of proteins of milk, especially albumin, after sterilization. So when the solution of inorganic salts or acids are added to albumin separates with casein. So the sample after treatment with ammonia sulfate is filtered, and after heating or filtrate it shows turbidity due to presence of albumin on account of sufficient heat treatment. So basically this turbidity test it depend upon the denaturation of protein, especially albumin protein, and it is carried out for if the milk has been sterilized properly, all albumin will have been precipitated and no turbidity will be produced. So this test is not suitable for ultra high treated milk. Okay. So this is procedure for carrying out this turbidity test. Then these are interpretation of the result. Now we are going to see ultra high temperature, that is UTH processing. So more recently a continuous sterilization process has been introduced, and this is termed as ultra high temperature processing. And UTH or aseptic processing involves the production of a commercially sterile product by pumping the product through a heat exchanger. To ensure a long shelf life, the sterile product is packed into pre-sterilized containers in sterile environment, and airtight seal is formed which prevents reinfection in order to provide a shelf life of at least 3 months at ambient temperature. It has also been known for a long time that the use of higher temperature for shorter time will result in a less chemical damage to import nutrients and functional ingredients within foods, thereby leading to an improvement in product quality. So overall, what we do in ultra high temperature, we kept the products, say for example milk or food, for ultra high temperature for shorter time. So these combinations, they retain normal flavors as well as normal nutritional qualities of the product. So in these processes, the milk is heated up to 135 to 150 degrees Celsius for a few seconds, generally in plates or tubular heat exchanger. The milk which is then almost sterile and has to be filled into containers for distribution. The filling has to be done aseptically. Ideally, heating and cooling should be as quick as possible. So this applies only as long as the product remain under aseptic conditions. So it is necessary to prevent reinfection by packaging the product in previously sterilized packaging material under aseptic condition after heat treatment. So overall this process is carried out in very sterile conditions, including its processing of products, and its packaging is also occurs or it is carried out in sterile environment. So any intermediate storage between treatment and packaging must take place under again aseptic conditions. So this is why UTH processing is also called as aseptic processing. So overall this process is carried out at high temperatures for shorter time, and all operations of this process they are carried out in aseptic condition. Then UTH plants. So UTH plants are often flexibly designed to enable processing of a wide range of products in the same plant. Both low acid products below pH 4.5 and high acid products above pH 4.5 can be treated in UTH plant. However, only low acid products require ultra high treatment to make them commercially sterile. So spores cannot develop in high acid product such as juices, and heat treatment is therefore intended only to kill yeast and molds. So normally high temperature pasteurization, that is 90 to 95 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds, is sufficient to make high acid products commercially sterile. Okay. Then various UTH system. So there are two main types of ultra high temperature systems on the market. So in that first is direct ultra high treatment plants. So in the direct system, the product come into direct contact with heating medium, followed by flash cooling in a vacuum vessel, and eventually further indirect cooling to packing temperature. So what is done in ultra high treatment plants, that the product that has to be sterilized or that has to be processed is kept into direct contact with heating medium, and then after heating it get rapidly cooled, or it is means after heating is followed by rapid cooling, and overall this process is carried out in a vacuum, to avoid air and thereby contamination of microbes. So the direct system are divided into steam injection system, where steam is used, which is directly injected into the product. Then steam infusion system, where product is introduced into steam filled vessels. So these are two systems of direct ultra high treatment plants. So UTH processing means commercial sterility to ensure food safety and long shelf life at ambient temperature. It entails heating the product to a specific temperature for specific length of time. Higher the temperature, the shorter the time required to destroy microorganisms. So these are nothing but the combination of high temperature for lower time. So the more rapidly the product can be heated, then subsequently cooled down again, the less impact the process has on commercial changes in the product, such as changes in taste, color, even to some extent, so nutritional value. So overall this process retain all initial characteristics of products, in case of its taste, in case of its color, and in case of its nutritional quality. So all these features of product they get remain as it is. So the most effective way of achieving the rapid heating is to mix high temperature steam directly with the product, followed by flash cooling in a vacuum vessel. So this is called direct system. So flash cooling is an operation which, as well as cooling, also involves deaeration and deodorization of treated product. Okay. So in addition, deaeration secures high homogenization efficiency, and deaeration will also positively influence the storage stability of processed product in terms of preventing oxidation during storage. Then rapid heating and cooling explains why the direct system delivers superior product quality. Are then often chosen to manufacture heat sensitive products such as premium quality market milk, then enriched milk, then cream, then formulated dairy products, then soya milk, and soft ice cream, as well as dairy desserts and other baby products, baby foods. Okay. Then next type is indirect UTH plants. So in many cases the product must not only be attractive and healthy to eat and drink, but also economical to manufacture, store and distribute. So the most cost effective method of ultra high treatment processing is indirect heating, and in that a heating method in which a processed product never comes into contact with the heating medium. So this is the main feature of this indirect heating, is that so the heating material does not came into direct contact with the heating medium. So there is always a wall in between these two mediums. So this technique applies to all types of heat exchangers. So in indirect system, the heat is transferred from heating media to a product through a partition. It might be a plate or tubular wall, and the indirect system can be based on plate heat exchangers, then tubular heat exchangers, and scrap surface heat exchangers. So these are different methods of UTH plant that are based on indirect heating processes, and these are different types of indirect methods that are used in sterilization of milk as well as other product. Okay. So these are different types. Then next, aseptic packaging. So aseptic packaging has been defined as a procedure consisting of sterilization of the packaging material or container, filling with a commercially sterile product in aseptic environment. So what is meant by aseptic packing? First, it is a procedure consisting of sterilization of packaging material or container, then filling with a commercially sterile product in an aseptic environment, and producing containers that are high enough to prevent recontamination, that hermetically sealed. The term aseptic implies absence or exclusion of any unwanted organisms from the product. So these are some specifications of aseptic packaging and the product. So for product with long non-refrigerated shelf life, the package must also give almost complete protection against light as well as atmospheric oxygen. Then loss of nutrients during sterilization. So the nutritive value of pasteurized and ultra high treated sterilized milk changes little by heat treatment during its storage, as we already seen that extreme heat or heating for longer time alters nutritional quality and taste as well as aroma of some products. So the nutritive value of pasteurized and ultra high treated sterilized milk changes somewhat little by the heat treatment during its storage. In the bottle, sterilized milk shows somewhat greater loss of nutritive value. Of special importance are the decrease of available lysine and total or partial loss of some vitamins. Then Maillard reactions are responsible for a partial loss of lysine. They occur to some extent in ultra high treated sterilized milk during storage and in bottled sterilized milk during heating. So the loss of lysine is not serious in itself, because in milk protein lysine is excess. So the loss of vitamins mainly concerned with vitamin C and some 5 vitamins of group B. Then vitamins A and vitamins E are sensitive to light and oxidation, but mostly their concentrations do not decrease in sterilized milk. So losses of vitamins in milk should be evaluated relative to contribution to beverages in milk to supply of these vitamins in total diet. So especially the loss of vitamin B1, B2, B6 are considered undesirable, and the loss of vitamin C is generally of minor importance as such, but it may affect nutritive value in other ways. So the breakdown of vitamin C is connected with that of vitamin B12. Moreover, vitamin C protects folic acid from its oxidation. So loss of vitamins during storage can largely be avoided if oxygen is excluded. So vitamin C and vitamin B9 may completely disappear within a few days if much O2 is present. So the loss is accelerated by exposure to light, with riboflavin, that is vitamin B2 being a catalyst. So most often riboflavin disappears for long term exposure to light. So what is conclusion of overall this sterilization process? So sterilization of product is achieved by rapid heating to require high temperatures, holding it for few seconds, followed by rapid cooling. Ideally, heating and cooling should be as quick as possible, so ultra high treated products are in a good position to be able to improve the quality, image and heat processed ambient stable food. So this is overall information regarding sterilization of milk as well as milk related other product. Okay, so in next lecture we'll going to see phosphatase stage, that is conducted to check the efficiency of pasteurization. Okay, so thank you.